49-year-old Edward Randolph is accused of killing his 47-year-old girlfriend Hope Parrott, whose body was found inside a burning refrigerator in Overton County, Tennessee. At around 1 a.m. on the 31st of July 2025, a woman driving along Sunk Cane Road near State Highway 164 in the Crawford community saw a fire in a small creek bed at the bottom of an embankment. She stopped, noticed a refrigerator with its door open, and discovered a human body jammed inside, prompting her to alert authorities. The badly burned remains, later identified as Hope Parrott, were sent to the medical examiner. Hope had been reported missing by family earlier in July, after they were unable to contact her for days, which they said was unusual. Investigators learnt that she had been attempting to end her relationship with Edward at the time. Authorities arrested Edward on the 7th of August, naming him as the primary suspect. Officials allege that he killed Hope, placed her body in a refrigerator, transported it to a creek bed and set it on fire. Edward faces charges of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. He was booked into the Overton County Jail on a $50 million bond. The investigation into the matter continues. Florida woman 37-year-old Jessica Copeland is accused of leaving her teenage son home alone with 7 dogs in deplorable conditions while she took a multi-week vacation to Las Vegas, Nevada. On the morning of the 4th of August 2025, Putnam County deputies responded to a welfare check at a residence at 312 Songbird Lane in Palatka, Florida, after an out-of-state relative raised concerns about a teenage boy. An adult at the home claimed to be cleaning before Jessica's return from vacation, and the teen told deputies everything was fine, so the initial check was cleared without entering the premises. Later, a Marion County family member provided video evidence allegedly showing 3 critically emaciated dogs in the residence, claiming there was no food or running water. Deputies returned, entered the home with the teen's permission, and found squalid conditions: animal feces laid on floors, garbage strewn throughout, and 7 dogs without food or clean water. 2 dogs were confined in a bedroom with 4 inches of feces, 1 was caged and emaciated, and 4 others in the living room were found surrounded by filth, with insects in the water bowls. The teen reported that Jessica left for Las Vegas on the 21st of July, with various people checking on him and bringing food. He said the home's condition had been poor for years, because this is the way Jessica keeps the house and refuses to clean. Jessica returned during the investigation, as animal control were removing the dogs. Jessica was arrested and charged with 1 count of child neglect and 7 counts of animal neglect. She remains held at the Putnam County Jail without bond. The dogs were surrendered to Animal Services and will be available for adoption after treatment. 51-year-old Michael Stirling has been charged in connection with the death of his 77-year-old bedridden father, James Stirling, who died of dehydration in his home. On the 3rd of November 2024, police were called after a neighbour reported seeing Michael attempting to enter his residence at 2479 Nick Street in Clinton Township, Michigan, while appearing disorientated. Officers assisted Michael in entering the home and found James deceased in his bed. An autopsy determined the cause of death as dehydration, with the manner ruled a homicide. Michael, who identified himself as his father's living caretaker, initially claimed he saw his father the previous day. He later stated he left the home on the 30th of October 2024 after arranging for another individual to care for his father. Authorities could not locate this person, and the provided phone number was non-functional. On the 6th of August 2025, Michael was arraigned in 41B District Court on charges of involuntary manslaughter, second-degree vulnerable adult abuse, and second offence habitual offender. He remains held at the Macomb County Jail on a $250,000 cash surety bond. If released, he must wear a GPS tether, no drugs or alcohol, and is subject to house arrest. A probable cause hearing is scheduled for the 18th of August. On Thursday the 7th of August 2025, Diamon Dunn, a Texas Department of Criminal Justice correctional officer, was arrested in Smith County for bribery and manufacturing or delivery of a controlled substance. According to an arrest affidavit, Diamon met an undercover officer at a gas station on State Highway 31 in Tyler where she accepted $2,500 and approximately 71 grams of methamphetamine. She allegedly agreed to smuggle the drugs into the board unit in Freestone County. Authorities said that Diamon arrived at the meeting in partial correctional officer uniform. A 26-year-old Alabama woman will spend more than a decade behind bars in connection with the death of a baby son who was born with drugs in his system. On the 5th of August 2025, Chelsey Redmon-Zellers appeared in the 12th Circuit Court in Pike County, Alabama, where she pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. On the 18th of March 2023, Chelsey's baby was delivered stillborn at Medical Center Enterprise. Toxicology results showed the baby had methamphetamine, amphetamine, and fentanyl in his blood. The fentanyl was in an amount that could be lethal to human life. Investigators determined that Chelsey had been cancelled to avoid illicit substances during her pregnancy, but that advice was not followed. In a statement, Pike County District Attorney James Tarbox said, "This is a tragic case that was difficult to work on for all involved. To have a baby that should be born and given a chance at life die in this matter is heartbreaking. The manslaughter charge for which the defendant entered a guilty plea is still a very serious charge, and it reflects the completely reckless disregard and lack of care she had for the human life growing inside of her as she continued to ingest meth and fentanyl." 45-year-old Wesley Worl is behind bars following an incident that occurred on the 29th of July 2025 near Pollard Park and Andy Woods Elementary School in Tyler, Texas. According to an arrest affidavit, an 11-year-old girl and a friend were riding their bikes when Wesley exited his truck and shouted "Goo Goo Gaga, I need a diaper change," while wearing only a diaper. The girls, frightened by the encounter, ran toward a nearby alley. The 11-year-old girl was shaking from fear and reported that Wesley also said, "Will you change my diaper for me?" The girls sought help from an adult they recognized, whose son drove to the area and obtained a partial license plate number of the suspect's vehicle. Using the partial license plate, Tyler police identified the vehicle and linked it to Wesley, who matched the suspect's description. Wesley has a history of similar behavior dating back to 1999, including public indecency, wearing a diaper in public, and stalking an ex-girlfriend. He has a documented fetish involving wearing diapers and a reputation as a predator, targeting girls aged 8 to 12. At one point, Wesley was banned from visiting any parks in the city of Tyler. On the 7th of August, police arrested Wesley at his workplace without incident on charges of criminal solicitation of a minor and criminal trespass. He remains held at the Smith County Jail on a $600,000 bond. 22-year-old Jonathan Enriquez is behind bars accused of fatally beating his 4-week-old daughter. On the morning of the 11th of July 2025, authorities responded to an apartment near University Drive and Gilbert Road in Mesa, Arizona, on reports of an unresponsive baby. When officers arrived, they found the infant in a critical condition and she was immediately transported to a hospital. At the scene, police noted the parents provided conflicting accounts of the incident. Initially, they claimed the baby had fallen off a bed. Jonathan later admitted to being quite forceful while changing her diaper, stating that the baby hit herself in the face due to his frustration, though he denied striking her. He also provided 2 additional conflicting stories, claiming the baby fell from a car seat into a stroller, hitting her head, or that she was injured by a seat buckle, causing bruising around her eyes. Authorities later discovered that Jonathan had texted the baby's mother, who left for work, urging her to return home immediately because the baby was not breathing and he had messed up. Medical examinations revealed the infant had suffered a fractured skull, brain bleeding, bruising around her eyes, and fractures in her leg and ribs. The baby remained in a critical condition for 15 days before passing away on the 26th of July. An autopsy indicated that the injuries were consistent with slamming, crushing or stomping, with many being described as catastrophic. During a follow-up interview on the 6th of August, Jonathan reportedly confessed to striking the baby on the left side of her head because she was crying too much while in a bassinet. He also admitted to tightly swaddling her to stop her crying. Jonathan expressed deep remorse for his actions and stated he was ashamed of himself. He He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and felony abuse. He remains held at the Maricopa County Jail on a $1 million bond.